It looks like the rumors could be true and another major player could be entering the console space. So we've been hearing for a while that Steam is trying to get back into the console space. They've tried this before with the Steam boxes. They didn't go very well for them. They stopped making them relatively shortly after they put them out. And they haven't done anything since then. They've really just focused on their storefront, selling the software. And it's been very good for Valve and for Steam. It looks like now, though, they are trying to get back into the console space, which is interesting as we are seeing the entire industry change from moving more to multi-platform, getting away from exclusivity, which is something that the Steam doesn't have anyway, and they are getting more into hardware. We're also seeing the expansion out of the handhelds with the Xbox ROG Ally coming out, and rumors that we are going to be getting handhelds from PlayStation as well in the next generation hardware, where people thought it was over. We're done with hardware here. There's going to be less of it. It looks like we're actually getting more moving forward, and Steam could be a major player in this as well. And it's pretty exciting. If you're somebody who plays on PC, if you like using Steam for your games and everything, this may be something to keep your eyes on, and we'll see how they improve upon what they had with the Steam boxes previously. But this is now showing up, the Valve Fremont, which is the long rumored console running SteamOS. And SteamOS is very good. I really do enjoy it. When I was using my Steam Deck, I think it's a great operating system. And that is something I think now that they've developed and made far better, allows them to expand out to more hardware where they know you're going to get a great experience when you are launching SteamOS on pretty much any device. And it's appeared here on the benchmarking platform Geekbench. And it says here, the appearance comes as rumors of Valve's return to Steam consoles continue to swirl. So here are the system benchmark specifications that have popped up here with a console that looks like it is going to be running Steam Deck. Now, this is wrong. It says here that they would be Windows 11 Pro. So this is one thing where you could think, okay, maybe this rumor is not correct. As they do say here, there could be various changes between when the testing appears and when something becomes official or is released. One example is that one of the benchmark mentions running a Windows 11 Pro, the final device will likely have SteamOS Linux-based operating system. So it will more than likely have SteamOS. I doubt they're going to be putting Windows 11 Pro here if they're going to be releasing their own Steam console, especially as the way that we are seeing this run on the Steam Deck, it does very, very good. But here are the specs right now that are popping up. AMD custom CPU, 1 processor, 6 cores, 12 threads. The identifier is authentic AMD family. Base frequency 3.2 gigahertz, 6 cores, maximum frequency 4,792 megahertz. Socket FP7 as the package, codename Hawk.2, and then the cache instructions here, L1 and L2 caches where they have them listed out. So nothing crazy there. It does sound like pretty cool here, but it definitely is showing up that there is something in the works here from a hardware perspective that they are working on expanding out. They say, according to Lish, Valve Fremont is a TV-focused PC box console running SteamOS and has a dedicated HDMI port. And he adds that it's semi-custom CPU based on Hawk.2 with the integrated GPU removed. And speaking of the GPU, it is a dedicated AMD RX 7600 that will all fit in within the custom Valve case. So those are the specifications that right now we know rumored. Are they true? Are they not? Is this thing actually happening? Is obviously the question that people all have on their minds. But the reality is, this to me is signaling a point where Valve has looked at the market. They're looking at Xbox, they're looking at PlayStation, which would be the main competitors of the Steam Fremont, whatever they're going to end up calling it. The Nintendo Switch 2 is out there, but the Nintendo Switch 2 definitely has a different demographic, although I do think the Switch 2 is going to be more focused a little bit on competing with the current Xbox and PlayStation, because they are getting a lot of these similar games that are going to be ending up on the platform. Plus, they have the advantage of the portability, which is another reason why I think you're seeing the PC handhelds come in here, Xbox expanding out the handhelds, and PlayStation expanding out the handhelds, because people love that option of being able to go from console to portability whenever they do want. But you see Valve taking a look at this, and they're probably thinking, now with the fact that they have everything, They have PlayStation games. They have Xbox games. Will they, in some point in the future, ever have Nintendo games? Maybe they're preparing for that in the future in the next couple of years if Nintendo decides that, hey, we want to make even more money and improve our margins than we currently do have. We'll just put games on PC and sell millions and millions of copies to PC players. They're looking at this and thinking they could be potentially the dominant player in consoles because you're getting that access to everything. And it puts, I think, Xbox in a spot where they also are looking at this and thinking, how can they get every single game onto their platform, as we're seeing more PlayStation games coming over to Xbox. We're hearing the rumors that Steam is landing on the next Xbox console, so you'll get access to everything there. To me, when you're comparing both Xbox, if it has Steam, versus Steam that doesn't have Xbox, the Xbox console would be more enticing for me because I play a lot on the Xbox platform as well. But then you have PlayStation. They're kind of just left out there. And if they just continue with the PlayStation 6, a locked down console, and don't expand out any more than that, they could be one of the least interesting consoles going forward to the next gen, at least for people who don't only care about playing the exclusives and they don't want to be locked down to the single PlayStation store where they're going to be held out of playing games that you're going to be able to get on Xbox and on the Steam free month, or whatever they're going to end up calling it, the Valve free month. Either way, the entire console industry with Valve coming here could change the landscape of where people decide they want to go pick these things up. And who would they be targeting? I think mainly they would be targeting PC players who also want to sit back on their TV and have that seamless experience of jumping back into their games that they were playing with their mouse and keyboard, sitting back with a controller on their couch and having that more at-home cinematic experience and a cheaper entry into playing all the games that are available on Steam. Either way, this is interesting to see. Well, wonder when this would be announced, wonder when this would be released. Are they going to put this out before the launch of the next generation, or would they put this out with the launch of the next generation and try to directly compete with it? And I wonder how well it will succeed, because they've tried this once. It did not go very well. But I think now with SteamOS, I think with the expansion out of the Steam Deck, where they've sold, I think, around 4 or 5 million units of the Steam Deck, and they seem pretty happy with that. They're going to be making a Steam Deck 2. Maybe they're just looking at trying to get around the same similar style of sales numbers with this console. They're not trying to become a major player competing with Xbox and PlayStation. And they're okay with that if they have the correct margins when putting out a Steam box. But let me know what you guys think about this. Just want to put out some initial thoughts on potentially having another, I would say, big player here in the console space. Would you lean more towards picking up a Valve Steam box, or would you still want to stick with like the Xbox and PlayStation side of things? I guess it all really depends where your library is. But on the video there, if you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.